doing a reading of Taken Abroad. We're on chapter 7, and this is going to be the most interesting chapter because we're going to get into some spicy situations. So sit back, relax, and grab yourself a cup of weak coffee. I got myself a nice iced Savannah cappuccino right now to wet the whistle. So let's get into this. It was almost 9:30 p.m. when Aaron walked in the door and found his mother sitting on the couch, watching TV and enjoying a bowl of popcorn and a cup of tea. Hi, Mom. I don't know if you'd still be awake or not, Aaron spoke as he moved to the kitchen sink for a glass of water. Yeah, but not much longer. Did you have a good time over at Kelly's? She asked. Yes, I did. The baby's cute, he answered. Brooke called while you were gone, his mother informed him with a broad smile. Aaron looked at his mother surprisingly. What did she say? She said, call you back tomorrow so you two can get to know each other better. And you can call her back tomorrow night if you want to. She sounded nice, his mother said to encourage him to call her back. She's very nice, Aaron emphasized the words when he spoke to them. I want to get up early and go surprise Brady. Don't worry about making any breakfast for me. I'll grab something at McDonald's. Good night. He kissed his mother on the cheek and found his way down to the dimly lit hall of the bedroom and retired to his bed. After taking a quick wake-up shower the next morning, he drove over to surprise his little brother. He stayed over a few hours, visiting and catching up with things on him, and went back home. He didn't have any other plans for that day, so he decided to clean the house for his mother. She was happy to see a clean house when she got home from work, so she could sit down and relax for a change. Around 7 o'clock, after eating dinner, Aaron called Brooke, and they talked on the phone for about 2 hours. He is amazed that the more he talked to her, the more he liked her. Most girls had scared him off by calling him, but she was different. Or maybe it's him who's a different person from the person he used to be. He played with that thought, then tossed it aside after realizing it didn't really matter. He liked Brooke a lot, and that's what he cared about. The week went by fast, and before Aaron knew it, it was Saturday. He remained nervous all day about his day with Brooke. But once he had picked her up and they started talking, Aaron never even thought about his nerves. It was completely comfortable around Brooke all night. He felt better when he mentioned how comfortable he made her feel also. They had gone roller skating at Roller King skating rink, and Aaron had a great time, especially when Brooke held his hand on the couple's turn only and pretended to slip and fall so she could get closer to Aaron. She nearly knocked him over too, but with the help of the railing being there, he's able to recover so quickly, even with Brooke's added weight against him. When the last song played is for couples only, Brooke skated backwards, with Aaron skating with a little more confidence than he had night had started. He slowed with both purposely and backed her up against the wall and gave her their first kiss. She welcomed him with her eyes closed, and the heat between them grew. She drew back and pushed him slowly backward and led them both over the bench, smiling broadly all the way. Once Aaron got off his skates, he stood and stumbled to a pole to catch himself. After taking his first steps, the hours of having the wheels attached to his feet had thrown his equilibrium off, and fumbling had made him feel embarrassed. He turned and admired the dimples on Brooke's cheeks as she laughed at his clumsiness in walking, stumbling and clutching to the pole. She picked up her skates and walked to him and took his hand in hers. Come on, I'll catch you if you fall, she said with a flirty sarcasm that he found exciting. He smiled at her and commented and asked, Do you promise? Yes, she retorted. If you're good, she returned with a wink. Aaron pulled in the driveway of Brooke's house and turned the car off. They slowly walked hand in hand until they reached the door, and she turned face to face with him. As she glared into his eyes, he moved his hand to cup the nape of her neck and moved his mouth to meet hers. They kissed passionately for a long, heated moment that made her whole body tingle with want. She couldn't think and he couldn't breathe. Her tongue exploring the inside of his mouth made him forget how to breathe. She didn't know if she fell into him or if he had pulled her to him, but she had to somehow regain control of herself so that she didn't end up in the bed after only a second date. The phone rang inside her house, and she was able to push back away from him and give him a melting smile as she slid her hand slowly out of his and asked, Call me tomorrow? Okay, he agreed. She gave him one last peck of lips and said, Good night, Aaron. Good night, Brooke. He waited for her to get inside the house and close the door before returning it to the car, smiling all the way. Things are great with Brooke, and he's ecstatic about it. Aaron couldn't get the glowing look off his face, even by the time his morning came around. He woke up with the smell of ham, eggs, and coffee drifting across his nose. He lifted himself out of the bed and threw some shorts and a tank top and made his way to the kitchen in his slippered feet, greeting his mom with a drowsy, "Good morning." "Good morning back to you," she replied. "By the looks of your face, you and Brooke had a good time last night," she said in assumption and sarcasm. "How can you tell by the look on my face?" he asked. "Well, your smirk for one, and the lipstick smudges there all over your lips could have helped my estimation a bit," she retorted with a grin. Aaron's face grew red with embarrassment. "Oh, I'll be right back. I forgot to wash my face," he said with a red face and a smile. He noticed his mother's grin grow as he turned his way to the bathroom to wash Brooke's lipstick off his face. When he returned, he indulged himself in a perfectly cooked breakfast with his mother and talked about her day with Brooke while they drank their coffee. Over the next couple months, Aaron and Brooke spent more and more time with each other and became very close. Aaron had brought Brooke to his mom, his sister Kelly, and her family, and his brother Brady and his girlfriend. Aaron could tell his feelings for Brooke were growing very strong when he started calling her in the middle of the day just to talk to her. Then the night came when both could no longer contain their feelings for each other, and they lost themselves in the heat of passion. A month after their first time of lovemaking, Aaron took Brooke to a fancy romantic restaurant. Why did they describe the first time? I guess it must have not been very good. After they had finished eating, Aaron took her to the pier, got down on his knees, and proposed to her. Brooke had already known for the first from the time that her and Aaron first met that he's the one she wanted to marry. She let him slide the engagement ring on her hand after she said yes. They gave him a long, mind-losing kiss. They led him back to her house. When Aaron turned around to leave after kissing Brooke goodnight, she gripped his hand tightly and pulled him back to her. She wrapped her arms around his neck and pressed her firm breast against his chest, and they explored the cleft of his lip with her tongue, moving her tongue slowly along the rim of his lower lip, and into pulled him into her house, closed and locked the door behind them. I, s- I see no reason why you can't spend the night here tonight, Brooke exclaimed. "Are you sure you want to do this? After all, you're an engaged woman now," Aaron said sarcastically. "I've never been more sure of anything in my life," she said as she led him to the bedroom.
Hi, this is Ron.
We're about to get into this now.
Listening to Porno Sun.
Once she turned the one dim light on as she sat on the nightstand, she returned herself to his embrace and began exploring the inside of his mouth and her tongue again. Fighting each other, getting more and more lost in the moment, the fires inside them began to grow hotter as they lost their clothes and climbed under the covers of the queen-size bed. He slid his hand between her breasts and down to the navel, then gently back up and slowly brushed his thumb against her already hardened nipple. The contact made her let out a heavy exhale and traced a V in her neck with his tongue and then began moving it toward her left breast. She memorized the form of the muscles in his back as she let his tongue and hands take the freedom of exploring her body. She moaned when he moved his hand to the core of her. As his fingers thrust back and forth, her inner heat grew and expelled a dampness between her thighs that she had never experienced to this extent. Her body is crying out for his manhood with every pleasurable stroke his fingers made. He moved his fingers gently from her core and feathered them back up her right nipple, pulled his body over the top of hers. He felt her heavy, erotic breath on his face as his erection brushed her wet center. She let out a gentle moan as he entered her body. Her moans grew into cries with every strong inward push he threw her until the final cry, a passionate release and satisfaction came from them both. Aaron rolled over to relieve her body of his weight. She laid her head upon his chest and muttered, "I love you," to Aaron. He returned with, "I love you too," as he rested her hand on the right bicep and fell asleep for the night. The next morning, Brooke opened her eyes and found herself contentedly wrapped around Aaron's body. She hated to remove herself from the unconscious embrace, but did so very easily not to wake him. Where were we? Not to Waco. She flung her robe around the naked body and tied the rope securely. She stood there for a moment and stared at the diamond engagement ring on her finger and felt the warmth of love emanating inside of her. A broad smile came across her face as she stood in front of the mirror staring at herself in the ring as Aaron's arms pulled her body close to his from behind. He kissed her ear gently and led her back to the bed where she removed her robe and made love to her again before the day began. Aaron sat at the table and drank his coffee as he watched Brooke move into the kitchen making breakfast for the two of them. He wondered to himself how he got so lucky to be paired with a woman that he could feel so much for. An inner smile grew as he took another sip of the hot coffee. He's finally happy and content, he concluded. He had finally found what his life was all about and the woman he's sharing his time with right now. After finishing the breakfast, they decided to drive to Aaron's mother's house to give her the news. She's so pleased that Aaron had chosen Brooke and that Brooke had accepted his proposal. She called Aaron's sister Kelly and told her the news that Kelly come over at once. She then shooed Aaron out of the house as she, Brooke, and Kelly began making plans. Aaron told Brooke that she could do whatever she wanted for the wedding. If she wanted his opinion on anything, just call him on his cell phone. Brooke had called Amy to have her come over also and help start planning the wedding, seeing how it was Amy and Derek that put Aaron and Brooke together. Brooke also wanted Amy to be her maid of honor. Aaron went over to his sister Kelly's house to help his brother-in-law with the kids while the females were at his mother's house beginning plans for this wedding. Aaron received a call from Brooke around 6 o'clock that evening on his cell phone. Hi, honey, Brooke greeted. Hi, Aaron returned. My mother asked me, Kelly, and Amy to stay the night here, so I thought you might want to know because Kelly wants to know if you want to stay there and help Josh with the kids, Brooke explained. I don't know. Sounds like you ladies might be having too much fun there, he said sarcastically. We are, she replied. I'm having a great time. Aaron could hear the love and happiness in her voice, and it melted him to the core. Okay, call me when you wake up tomorrow morning, and I'll come back over. Okay, have a good night, and I love you, she said, and ended with a phone kiss. Okay, I love you too. Bye. Aaron hung up the phone and gave his brother-in-law a look that said, You are not going to believe what I'm about to tell you. But before he could say anything, Josh asked, What are they doing over there? Well, Aaron started, looks like us guys at your house tonight. My mom asked all the girls to stay the night over there, so we're stuck here. Kelly said she'll call the kids to say goodnight before they go to sleep. That would figure, Josh retorted. Get women together for an event like this, and you can't separate them till the event is over. That's like the best fucking line for this. I gotta get these women together for an event like this, and you can't. I want to fucking see Kenneth Brinkman. What the hell? Never waste a load. Oh boy, to stop. To stop. Oh boy. Oh shit. Where were we? Where were we? Aaron agreed with Josh. They both threw out a grin. If it were up to me, is this Aaron saying this? If it were up to me, we would just have gone to the justice of the peace and got married. But I know Brooke that has always dreamed of a nice wedding, so who am I to deprive her of that? He stated. The justice of the peace. That's a interesting way of putting it. All right, I'm getting very sidetracked here. That's true. I know your sister loved planning our wedding. She didn't want me to make any decisions without her knowledge. I got a kick out of it, just agreed with her all the way through the planning of it. I thought it would work out better that way. Josh informed as he fell back in his memory. Well, this means that we're going to have to do our own cooking tonight. Do you trust me to cook while you take care of the baby? Aaron asked. Nah, hardly, Josh replied. We'll order pizza. Good choice. I'm afraid of my own cooking, much less having my nephew or brother-in-law taking risk with their lives eating it, Aaron returned. Josh laughed at Aaron's joke about his own ability to cook as he picked up the fork and dialed the number to order the pizza. By the time the pizza had arrived, Josh had already fed the baby and laid him in the crib for the night, and he fell fast asleep. Aaron, Josh, and Blake had set up the Hungry Hippo game in the middle of the table and continued. It's called Hungry Hippos, bro. Come on. The Hungry Hippo game. It's Hungry Hippos, Lord. Fucking hell. in the middle of the table. They continue to play it while they actually the new version is EDP horny hippos. So make sure to get that. Um, they continued to play while they ate their pizza and drank their sodas. Kelly had called near the end of the game to say goodnight to Blake, and their husband had assured Blake that she would be home in the morning. After hanging up the phone, three guys finished the game and the pizza, retired for the night. Josh pulled a sheet pillow blanket out of the pantry in the wouldn't it be a hall closet? Pantries where we put food. Pantry in the hall and set them on the couch for Aaron to use. After returning to his room, Aaron spread the sheet and blanket on the couch, crawled under them, adjusted the pillow to where his head could rest comfortably. He lay there for about an hour, reminiscing about the night before he had held the woman of his dreams in his arms. Slowly he slid into deep, soulless sleep. Ugh. Somewhere in the middle of the night, Aaron began turning his sleep. He was having a dream about something that was haunting him. It was easy to see. He sat up straight, woke himself up from his sleep after yelling, "No!" Josh came running barefoot in his pajamas from the bedroom to see what was going on and found Aaron soaked with sweat and pale as a ghost. He quickly ran into the next side and grabbed both of his shoulders and sat from him. "Aaron, are you all right?" he asked with worry. Aaron tried to focus his eyes on Josh after rubbing the sweat and tears away. "Yeah, I guess I just had a nightmare." Josh let go of Aaron's shoulders and turned the lamp off on the table. "Do you have them often?" No, I don't. I haven't had it since I met Brooke," Aaron answered. "I think it might be a good idea if you see your doctor if you keep having them," Josh recommended. "Yeah, if it keeps happening, I will, but I'm sure it's just a fluke that I had this one," Aaron replied with ease, his brother-in-law's mind and his own. "Are you sure you don't want me to take you to see one this morning? We don't have to say anything to anyone about it." "No, I'll be fine. Thank you anyway. Go back to bed, Josh. I'll be alright," Aaron ordered, feeling guilty about waking up his brother. "Okay, let me know if you change your mind about seeing a doctor," Josh turned. "I will. Good night." Night. Josh went back to bed and left Aaron laying there alone as he wished. Aaron lay with his eyes open in the dark, staring at the trees outside the window, where he could see from the light of the moon. He began to wonder, why did I have that nightmare after all this time without having them? Why did the memories of the Iraq War start haunting me in my dreams again? Would they stop again after tonight, or would I have to deal with them every night for God knows how long? He let the questions run through his mind as he slipped slowly back to sleep. The night moved on, and the morning came. Aaron's nightmares didn't return after falling back to sleep. Before Aaron left to return to his mother's house, shit, what the fuck was I? Where the hell was I? It's like lost my vision for a second. Oh, Josh asked him again. "Aaron, I know what memories of what happened over to you in Iraq are bothering you because of the nightmares you had. It's no shame to get help with it if you need to. Are you sure you don't want me to take you to see a doctor?" "I'm sure," Aaron says. He reached out his hand out to shake Josh's hand. "If I change my mind, I'll let you know in the meantime, but do me a favor and don't mention this to anyone. I don't need people worrying about me when there's nothing to worry about, especially with the wedding taking place and all." "All right, you have my word, but don't forget, if you change your mind, let me know." Josh expressed himself with a firm grip on Aaron's hand. "Okay, everybody, I'll tell Kelly to hurry home to you." Aaron drove away and headed back to his mother's house to rejoin his fiance. Josh asked him about going to the doctor and jerked his mind back to the nightmare he had traveled along the two-lane road. He couldn't figure out why his nightmare returned after not having one for so long. He'd been feeling great and thought he'd gone past all the bad things that happened to him in Iraq. He still had something that bothered him, he knew, but for the most part, he felt secure. Or was the security just delayed because of all the new happenings in his life, Brooke and getting engaged? He finally pushed his thoughts aside when he pulled his brother's driveway. He was surprised to find Brooke and Kelly had gone into Aaron's bedroom, packed everything up to move to Brooke's house. After he loaded everything into the car, he returned to the house to have lunch with Brooke and his mother. Kelly had already left because she told Blake that she'd be back in the morning, and Amy had to leave so she could get her housework done before she went to work the next day. Ugh. Aaron, Brooke, and Aaron's mother all sat down How come you can't just say give Aaron's mom a name? Aaron Brooke and Aaron's mother is just like really redundant. All sat down at the table and discussed wedding further while they ate the mother's homemade chicken pie. Chicken pot pie is one of Aaron's favorite dishes. After they finished eating, Brooke helped Aaron's mother gather the dishes from the table and wash them, while Aaron gathered the rest of the things to move to Brooke's house. Once the dishes were done, they both gave Aaron's mother a hug, and Brooke thanked her to the great time and the help in some of the wedding plans. He said their goodbyes and drove off. On the way home, Aaron remained quiet, and Brooke asked him what's wrong. I had a nightmare last night about when I was over in Iraq, he told her. It was odd because I haven't had one since the night you and I met. I thought I was done having them. Maybe you should go see a doctor about it, she suggested. No, Josh said the same thing. I'm sure it's just a fluke that I had another one. I'll be fine, Aaron claimed, and he tried changing the subject to get his mind away from negative thoughts about it. So the mom, Kelly, and the mom, Kelly, and Amy help you a lot with the wedding plans, or has it been more of a slumber party? Aaron answered with sarcasm. It's a little both. It was fun. I had a great time, Brooke returned. Good. I know my mom really likes you a lot. Did she tell you that? Brooke asked. Yes, she did. After she met you the first time, he explained. Good. I like knowing I have a good mother-in-law because of my family. Yeah, where is her family? That's a good question. Is Brooke's family? Must be dysfunctional or some shit. Well, Earthside, with my, you definitely got what you wanted. I did too because I got you. Ah, Brooke smiled at Aaron's comment as she slurs her hand in his, scooted close to him and kissed him on the cheek and rested her hand on his shoulder while he drove. When they finally went to Brooke's house, they unloaded Aaron's belongings. Ugh. It brought them into the house to unpack. Aaron found an empty cardboard box in Brooks' basement, easily put all his military uniforms and certificates in, and placed it in the attic after labeling on the box. He backed down from the attic and found Brooks sniffing out his clothes to figure out if they're clean or dirty. Those are dirty, he says as he laughed. Yeah, I figured that out after sniffing them, Brooke retorted and stuck her tongue out at Aaron. Do you want to go through these for me to see how you know what's clean and what's not? Yes, I will. And answered and gave her a kiss and began sorting out his clean clothes from dirty ones. Brooke left the room with a load of hers and Aaron's dirty clothes mixed together so she could wash them. Aaron continued to sort through his clothes and began thinking about the nightmare he had the night before. He couldn't imagine why he would all of a sudden start having them again, but he hoped that it wouldn't come back again tonight. Brooke re-entered the room to find Aaron staring off into space. Is everything alright? She asked with concern. Yeah, I was just thinking about the nightmare I had last night. I can't imagine why I would have one again after not having them for so long. It doesn't make sense to me. Well, if you have it tonight or any night from here on, I'll be right there to comfort you. Brooke assured him. Ugh. Aaron looked at Brooke adoringly and admired. I love you. I love you too, she said back to him and she leaned over to kiss him. Brooke returned to the laundry and Aaron continued to unpack and sort through his clothes. It took him a couple hours before they had finished. They sat down to watch TV and eat dinner before retiring to bed. Aaron slept peacefully all night and didn't have another nightmare. He woke up to smell pancakes in the kitchen. So he stumbled out of bed. He made his way to the kitchen. Brooke was in the middle, flipping another pancake. He gave her a good morning kiss, then proceeded to pour himself a cup of coffee and sit down at the table as Brooke placed a plate in front of him with 3 large pancakes on it. After spraying some butter on the pancakes and covering them with maple syrup, he took his first bite. He considered the taste of Brooke pancakes like heaven upon his tongue. He didn't have he didn't think anybody made pancakes better than his mom, but Brooke had proved him wrong about that. He had the pancakes gone in a matter of minutes. Brooke frowned at him when she returned from the table with her plate of pancakes and found his plate empty. What's wrong? He asked. I want us to eat together, but you already finished yours, she explained disappointed. I'm sorry, honey. They're just so good that I couldn't stop after I took the first bite. I'll forgive you this time, Brooke said, but tomorrow don't touch it so I'm able to eat with you. Okay, Aaron smiled. Well, yeah, me, why don't you? Aaron smiled at her demand and finished drinking his coffee while she ate her pancakes. At her pancakes, not ate. At her pancakes. Should have had waffles. Waffles are better, dude. The next couple of months went by quickly as Aaron got an honorable discharge from the army and began starting his new job as a mechanic for the school bus garage. That doesn't really seem like a very stable line of work, but okay. Okay, Aaron. Good for you, you got a job. Is it better now that I quit my job? The wedding was quickly approaching, and Aaron and Brooke were more anxious, more nervous. About 2 weeks before the wedding, Brooke began not feeling so well. She went to the doctor to make sure she wasn't coming down with something. Last thing she wanted to be was sick on her wedding day. Aaron went with her to the doctor, looked through the magazines in the waiting room. Oh, she's getting examined. The doctor came out, and Aaron stood before to find out what's wrong with Brooke. I think that you should follow me, Aaron, the doctor said, trying to keep his composure. Aaron did as the doctor recommended and followed him into the room that Brooke was in. When he entered the room, he found Brooke still dressed in her clothes, so he figured that she didn't have to be admitted to the hospital. Brooke looked up at Aaron with tears in her eyes. What's going on? What's wrong with her? Aaron asked wearily. I think Brooke should tell you, the doctor said in return. Brooke, what is it? Aaron asked. Brooke took Aaron's face in her hands and kissed him and put her tear-soaked cheek against his softly, said in his ears, You're gonna be a daddy. Aaron's mouth dropped as he tilted his head back and looked into Brooke's eyes. You're pregnant? He asked her with a smile began lighting up her face. Yes, she said, happily wiping tears from her eyes. Aaron picked up Brooke off the floor and held her tight against him. He never felt so happy or complete in his life as he did in this moment. He wanted time to stand still as he held her. He turned to the doctor and said, How far along is she? She's about 6 weeks right now, he replied. Is the baby all right? Is there any precautions we should take? Aaron asked. The baby is perfectly healthy as far as I can tell right now. In about every 3 months, if you both want to know, I'll be able to tell you, like the baby's health or whether it's a boy or girl. The doctor explained. That's something we have to talk about, Brooke. That's something we have to talk about, Brooke said as she smiled up at Aaron. They think the doctor walked home in hand in hand to the car. Aaron had called his mother from the cell phone to see she was home. Hello? His mother greeted after picking up the phone. Hi, Mom. Are you going to be home for a while? Aaron asked. Yes, I am. Are you coming over? She returned in question. Yes, we're in the car right now. I'll be over there right soon, Aaron told her. Okay, see you when you get there. She then hung up the telephone. Aaron clicked the end button on the cell phone. She's gonna be home, so we'll head over right there and tell her we're going to be grandmother again. You're going to be a grandmother again, Aaron said to Brooke. Brooke just smiled at him with a loving smile and squeezed his hand. When they arrived, Aaron's sister Kelly was there also. They walked into the house holding hands and was greeted by Aaron's mother. Kelly looked at Brooke and covered her mouth. Oh my God, you're pregnant! Aaron's mother dropped. Wait, hold up. When they arrived, Aaron's sister Kelly was also there. Walked into the house holding hands and was greeted by Aaron's mother. Kelly looked at Brooke and covered her mouth. Okay, so Kelly just discovered it by looking at her. Fuck. Aaron's mother's mouth dropped and she looked at Brooke and then came to the realization that Kelly was right. Oh my God, Brooke. She quickly looked for Brooke and hugged her tightly after pushing her son out of the way. And then shoved you're like, move, bitch, get out the way. He's fucking shoved Lauren to the side. Aaron was quick to see that he was not going to be acknowledged by the women for a while, so he decided to go in the kitchen and make a pot of coffee, while his mother and sister guffawed over Brooke and the baby she's carrying. Aaron was happy to see his mother and sister making such a fuss over Brooke. He guessed that having the adult slumber party and making plans for the wedding must have brought them a lot closer than what he had anticipated because they had forgotten what Aaron was even there. As a matter of fact, if it weren't for Brooke wanting to kiss Aaron goodbye when his mother and sister decided to take Brooke shopping for baby things, they would have left without even saying goodbye to him. Aaron smiled at Brooke and told her that he loved her and to have fun after she gave him a kiss. Fuck. That's very long. After the woman left, Aaron turned on TV and began watching the news. They talked about war in Iraq and told about another suicide bombing that killed 23 Iraqi civilians and 2 United States military soldiers. The women were gone for quite some time because Aaron fell asleep on the couch and the TV was still on and began dreaming about being back in Iraq. This time it's completely different because in his dream, he's holding his newborn baby Brooke standing next to him. She had a black hood over his head and was on her knees, with her hands tied behind her back. And his surgeon was standing behind her with a gun to her head. Aaron screamed, "No!" Woke up to the walls. Wails of a baby crying. He looked down at his hands and saw nothing. Then looked up at the TV to see the movie. 3 men and the baby had come on, and the baby wailing was what was wailing that he had heard. Aaron moved himself to the bathroom mirror to find his soaked in sweat. He turned the cold water on, cupped his hands together, and filled them with water. A splash of the cold water on his face, looked at himself in the mirror again. Why would you have a ridiculous nightmare like that? He asked himself. Let's see. Cumbersome. He heard the sound of a car pulling in the driveway, so he knew that the women were back from shopping. He quickly reached for a towel and dried all the water from his face and went out to help the women bring on all the new baby stuff they had bought. Brooke gave Aaron a kiss and the hug they felt that he was all sweaty. Are you alright? She asked with concern. Yeah, I just fell asleep on the couch and well, it got a little hot. He explained as he did his best to get rid of the concern that showed on her face. Aaron's mother came around to the side of the car, unaware of Brooke's concern about Aaron, asked Aaron to help bring in the new things when they sat down. Once they had finished unloading all things in the car, Aaron sat down and began eating the meal that Brooke had bought him at Burger King while the women sorted through their new baby items. Burger King charbroiled burgers. I mean, it's not as shitty as McDonald's, but still sucks ass. As Perry says, "Stop bringing me fucking McDonald's!" Your mom and sister, wait. Who's saying this? Your mom and sister are coming over tomorrow to help me into the guest room, into the nursery. And I want you to be there with me, okay? Brooke asked him as she gently leaned over and gave him a persuading peck on the lips. Nice move, he told her. How can I say no when you asked me like that? He asked her with a smile that told her he'd do anything she asked if it would make her happy. It wasn't long after Josh called and wanted Kelly to come home. Aaron and Brooke had also decided to leave and go home too. Aaron gave his mother a hug and kiss goodnight and headed to the car, leaving Brooke staying there discussing some things with his mother about the next day. After 10 minutes away in the car, Brooke finally opened the door and got in. I'm sorry it took so long to get away from your mother, but she's excited about the baby, Brooke said with a smile. It's all right, Aaron returned. I understand all about women and talking, he teased. Brooke slapped him playfully with a smile. Yeah, and kissed him on the cheek as she began to drive down the dark street home. Aaron is experiencing domestic violence. He is being abused. This is why he snaps. Aaron was happy to finally be home after a long day at the doctor's in his mother's house. Even though he had taken a nap while mother was shopping, his exhausting nap because of the nightmare, he's still tired. After loading all the stuff in the car that his mother had brought from Brooke and the baby, Aaron and Brooke both retired to bed. It didn't take long for both of them to fall asleep. The night grew more and more, and still Aaron once again began to dream. Brooke's body was wrapped over him, and she woke up to the feel of his arm twitching back and forth. She became overwhelmed with concern, and his body tensed up instantly. She felt the cold sweat grow on him. She shook on his shoulder and quietly called his name. Aaron! Aaron! Aaron snapped awake and sat straight quiet. Aaron snapped awake and sat up straight quickly. His breaths were deep and heavy as he looked straight ahead into the dark. Brooke sat up with them and ran her fingers through his hair. Are you alright? She asked him quietly. He took a deep breath and blew it out, relieved to find he's still in bed with Brooke and they're both safe. Yeah, I guess you just had a bad dream, he replied and slowly drew himself out of the bed. Do you want to talk about it? Brooke asked soothingly. No, go back to sleep. I'm going to take a quick shower. Then I'll come back to bed. Okay, she replied. Aaron found his way through the dark to the bathroom and let the cold water splash over his sweat-filled body. After standing under the cold water for 10 minutes, he dried himself off and returned to bed with Brooke. Brooke let Aaron sleep in that morning. It was Sunday and there's no need for him to get up early. She knew he had a hard time getting back to sleep after his nightmare, so I make sure he got some good sleep to make up for the sleep he didn't get. Okay, I get the point. You have to keep saying sleep like 10 times. At 11 a.m., she finally went in and woke him up with French toast and orange juice. His mother and sister were to be there at 12, so she needed him to be up to help them with the nursery. He ate French toast in bed and drank his orange juice, then got dressed to pour himself a cup of coffee. He stood in the doorway. This is going to be in this nursery. And smiled while watching Brooke spread out some rolls of wallpaper on the bed. She caught a glimpse of him staring at her out the corner of the eye. What are you smiling at? She asked as she smiled back at him. You, he said as he walked up to her and kissed her on the lips. I love seeing you happy. It makes me happy. I'm happy because of you, Aaron, she replied. And I'm happy because of you, he returned. Good. Then do me a favor and start taking this bed apart. After that's done, move into the basement along with the dresser and the nightstand. She threw him a sweet smile and a quick kiss on the lips before he began removing the rolls of wallpaper off the bed. I should have known it was a trap, he said sarcastically. I love you, she said sweetly as she turned around and walked out the door with arms full of rolls of wallpaper. Aaron smiled, set his near empty coffee cup on the dresser, and began taking apart the queen-size bed. He had the bed almost completely apart when he heard a knock on the door and Brooke greeted his mother and sister. He continued on taking apart the bed, and his mother came into the room to see his progress. Hi, Aaron, she said happily. Hi, Mom. You realize I'm here today, huh? He said with a hidden smile. What do you mean? She asked this innocently. I mean, you forgot I was even in the house yesterday after you heard you were going to be a grandmother again. And explained with a smile. Oh, you poor baby, she said sarcastically as she walked over him and gave him a kiss on the hand. There, does that make you feel better? Aaron took out her. Yes, thank you. Good. Now hurry up and get this stuff out of here so we get started my new grandchild's nursery, she ordered. Wow, Aaron's so bossy today, he laughed. Don't complain, just work, she said. She left the room with a smile, with a smirk. Oh, shit. It took Aaron until 1 o'clock p.m. to finish moving the parts on the bed, the dresser and nightstands down to the basement. Once he's out of the way, Brooke boxed up the extra clothes that was in the closet and had Aaron put them in the basement also. After Kelly vacuumed the light blue carpet, Aaron's mother brought in buckets of soap and warm water and began washing the walls. By 4:30 p.m., Brooke asked Aaron if he could go to the store and get the pizza they had ordered. He returned with 1 extra large pizza, half Hawaiian, half pepperoni, and 2 2-liter bottles of Sprite and breadsticks. The ladies all took a break to eat, and they went back to work. While they were doing the nursery, Aaron was in the living room putting together the crib, playpen, baby swing, and baby dresser. The women all finished by 8 o'clock and finally allowed Aaron to enter the new nursery. Aaron walked into what seemed like a completely different room than what he had been in earlier. He was taking apart the queen-size bed since that women started the afternoon. They put up all new wallpaper. That soft blue with thick pink outlines, little white bunny rabbits all over the place. The curtains on the 2 windows in the room were pink with little white shelves hung on the walls and baby decor on them. The only thing that Aaron had a problem with was that fumes are still in the room with the glue on the wallpaper. Okay, so that's kind of weird because they basically kind of set up like a girl's bedroom when he winds up having a son. And it didn't bother to see, are we going to have a boy or a girl before we make this? But okay, whatever. Eric congratulated the women on a nice job as they opened the two windows to air the fumes out of the room. The ladies had been in the fumes all afternoon, so they even noticed how strong they were. Aaron thought it was odd earlier that afternoon they heard all three of the women start giggling and didn't stop for about 30 minutes. Kelly helped Aaron carry in the crib, playpen, baby swing, and baby dresser, and Brooke directed them where to place them. She wasn't sure about their exact locations at that moment, but she could always rearrange them when she wanted to. It didn't take long after Kelly and Aaron's mother left for Brooke to fall fast asleep on the couch. Aaron picked her up in the arms and carried her to the bedroom, carefully laying her down on the bed. He then returned to the kitchen to turn out the light and then closed the windows to the new nursery. He stopped on the way out the door and looked at the welcoming room and smiled before turning off the light and retreating to bed himself. He removed his clothes and climbed into bed and pulled Brooke into his arms. He was happy. He felt very complete with Brooke in his arms and couldn't picture himself ever being unhappy. He absorbed the comfort she gave him and fell asleep with a slight smile on his face. All right, so that's gonna do it for right now because this was a very, very long chapter compared to the rest of the book, and I don't really feel like reading another part right now. So yeah, tune in next time. All right, okay, bye.